You guys go back the oldest.
Yeah, Joe and I actually played in a group together in the 70s.
As a group.
The group was called Jasmine.
They let me into the group, which was amazing, because I didn't know anything. Where was the prison? Was that in
Monroe State
right.
Prison.
Monroe State Prison.
It was
right.
kind of an honor farm. Prisoners sat in and played.
And they just came in and they took over, and then we're all singing unbelievable gospel tunes. He's on the piano on the roads. It was great. It was such a great experience.
Talk about a captive audience.
Did we play them next when we were both residents at BMC?
Yeah, you were my senior resident.
My guitar player.
We had a group called the Hose Bros, and we used to have some contest of how many people we actually intubated
We
in the course of the year.
We loved to intubate.
And he taught me how to do it, and so we called ourselves the Hose Bros.
The hose, and now
The hose is
hose
Yeah,
is
yeah,
somebody.
yeah, of course.
it can be interpreted in many ways.
The year.
1979.
There are times when I realize our friendship, all of our friendship, is so important and such an element, and I look for that to break out into our music. Part of what I strive for, to be in tune with that long-standing friendship with these guys that manifests itself in a musical way.
I'm an ophthalmologist, so I spend the greater part of my day either examining or operating on people's eyes. We happen to play a tune called Iris, which is very
Or infant eyes.
infant eyes. Yeah, we try to do as many eye tunes as possible. But there's definitely a release to playing the music, and it's a very different part of your brain that you're using. And so it really completes what I do work-wise. I think it is creative in some ways, but there's a lot of science behind it. You have to be very exacting. One of the things about jazz and about playing is that as much as everybody thinks it's very free, it's really, you really have to concentrate in the same way. I find that I'm concentrating on the chords, the melodies, where the structure of the piece is, what the form of the piece is, and how you get to say it. And so every single time you do say something in a solo or whatever, you're doing something a little bit different. You're letting the moment take you, but you're still working. In eye surgery, I'm completely 1000% in the moment. That for me is some similarities.
I've spent most of my medical career working in the emergency room at Fairview Hospital. I like to feel that I gave my best to every patient at every time.
I taught public school for 7 years in Vermont. I taught at Miss Hall School in Pittsfield for 33 years.
Oh, wow.
The biggest similarity between teaching and what we do, you have to be a good listener. The most important thing in being a good teacher, I believe, is listening.
It's been an incredible experience to be in a small community and be, certainly in my role as a physician, one has to be discreet. Sometimes it gets to be a little bit, there's some conflicts because we meet people, and at least I meet people who might want me to take a look at them in aisle 5 in Price Chopper.
It's always very funny when somebody comes up to Joe to talk about an eye problem they've had or how the surgery is going while he's trying to take a solo, and it's fulfilling actually to have somebody come up. They may not remember my name, but hey doc, how are you doing? Look at how my wound is healing. And people lift up their sweatshirts and show me the scar and say, look how well it's healing. Doc, it's great.
In surgery, I came up and there was a wonderful there was a harpist sitting outside of somebody's room and playing right up on the 3rd floor at Fairview, and it changed the whole atmosphere of the place. And I know the healing aspect of music is extremely well documented, and And there should be more of
I
it.
play a lot with people in Vermont. We play at the rehabilitation center of the hospital up there. It's the dementia ward, essentially. And very much what you're talking about. I've experienced that firsthand, where you're playing and the person really seems to be disconnected and out of it, and suddenly her foot is moving. And she makes this connection, and her face changes. And one woman, I wheeled a vibraphone over to her and handed her a mallet, and she started playing. And in time.
Wow.
I used to say that music was the only form of magic that I really knew existed.